Good afternoon, Professor. This is Roland Reyes again. Today is August 22nd, 2021. Here is my name and date, and then here are my notes that I'll be using, and then here's the backside. I just recorded this like not too long ago, and I don't know what happened to delete it, but so here I go again, sir. So my disease of my choice was HIV and AIDS. So first I'll go over the definition. The definition of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. That's what the acronym stands for. So what in the definition per the textbook was retrovirus that selectively attacks CD4 T lymphocytes, which are in charge of orchestrating a immune response to whatever kind of infection there is. And for AIDS, the acronym stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. And defined by the textbook is a disease caused by an infection with HIV and is characterized by profound immunosuppression with associated opportunistic infections. So the classification of the disease, there's two different ways to do it. So first, there's a category that measures the CD4 cells in per microliter. So category 1 is when somebody has more than 500 cells per microliter of CD4 cells, of course. Category 2 is when somebody has between 200 and 499 cells per microliter. And category 3 is when somebody has less than 200 cells per microliter. And these are CD4 cells, of course. There's also clinical categories. There's clinical A, B, and C. Clinical categories A, B, and C. So clinical category A is when the individual's asymptomatic. Clinical category B is when they have mild symptoms, but they are not AIDS defining. And clinical C is when it's AIDS defining. They have AIDS at this point. So the etiology of this virus is spread through either sexual contact or the transfer of blood through some sort of a way. So it can be transmitted by sexual contact, which can be oral, anally, vaginally. Those are the three ways. And it's easiest to get it anally because the tissue lining's the thinnest there. Other fluids that can carry the HIV virus is blood, semen, and vaginal fluids. Also breast milk, so mother to baby. Also, a baby can also get HIV from the mother during delivery. Also, you can get spread HIV from the sharing of same needles, because again, you're sharing blood. The syndrome is immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. The signs and symptoms of both HIV and AIDS are fever, fatigue, rash, headaches, pharyngitis, so your pharyngeal gets inflamed, night sweat, gastrointestinal problems, oral and or genital ulcers. And then just to recap, just because you have these symptoms does not mean you have HIV. It's very important to get tested if you think you might have it. Because you can have these symptoms, but it can be something completely different. Which leads me to what test is the best test to get for this, and what to expect. So the best test that I was able to find was the Bio-Rad multi-spot, which tests for HIV 1 and 2. It's a rapid test, and it's the most accurate of all these tests, and it's FDA approved. It's a blood test, so they just draw blood out of you. I'm in the military, so we have to get blood drawn every so often, but I don't think we do this one. We do antigen test or something because it takes a while to get those results. The differential diagnosis that you can have with this, again, can be many things. You can have You can have a fever. You can be tired from just about almost anything. But the one I chose was acute toxoplasmosis, which you can get from, especially women that are pregnant, can get from doing like changing cat litter. But the symptoms that are associated with acute toxoplasmosis are fever, fatigue, sore throat. So here we go again, same symptoms. And the possible complications of having either HIV or AIDS are that if you don't get treatment for this, you could die rather quickly. I mean, once an opportunistic infection occurs, your body's not going to really be able to defend itself. But there's treatments and stuff out there for that. And that's about it for my presentation. Thank you, Professor.